Everyone's got their own journey getting into it. And I'm no different, but I've seen a lot of the ups and downs in the cycle, so it's been pretty cool. Got a marketing degree in Rhode Island with moving out here to California. Immediately started working for a financial services company, doing some graphic design. Realizing it wasn't my passion. Bought a property, my first property. Contacted a broker that was in the area, kind of brought me in. He offered me a job. He's like, hey, will you come do my marketing for me? Will you help me with part of the business, and I'll kind of teach you how things work.
A lot of people that want to get into this game kind of think they got to go immediately into doing the project on your own and figuring it out on your own, but
Yeah.
you took step by step. Hello everybody, I'm Brian Daly, founder of We Revive, and this is the first ever Revive and Reveal show where we go into the truth behind the transformation. So I've flipped over 600 homes here in San Diego since 2010, and this is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to go beyond the pretty Instagram photos to get into the nitty-gritty of what actually makes a successful and sometimes, unfortunately, unsuccessful flip project, or in some circumstances, rentals and so on and so forth. So here today with me, I've got longtime buddy, Brian Ruhl, and I'm really looking forward to getting into the nitty-gritty of this property here on 6887 Flory Street that was in University City that we bought in 2024 and then sold in 2024 too. So we're here to shine a light on the whole story. From the acquisition to the construction to the sale, there's so much that goes into a project like this, and there's so many stories and people involved to make it all happen, and that's what we're here to do. So with that, Ruhl, first, before we get into the property, tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into real estate?
Yeah, man. Well, first off, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be on episode 1.
Thanks for being the guinea pig.
Yeah, so real estate, it's been a journey. I've been at it for about 20 years now, so it certainly dates me. And I thought about this a little bit today. Everyone's got their own journey getting into it, and I'm no different, but I've seen a lot of the ups and downs in the cycle, so it's been pretty cool. So I went to school in Rhode Island with got a marketing degree.
Oh.
That was my course in life. I'm going to be, marketing guy at a corporation. Moved back to Philly, which is where I grew up, and then ended up moving out here to California. Immediately started working for a financial services company, doing some graphic design.
All right. Stayed in that marketing.
Yeah, behind a computer a lot of office meetings.
God, what I know about you now, man,
I know,
that
right?
must have been torture.
Yeah, I had to, put a tie on every day. It was something.
Oh, tie on too.
Yeah. But ended up realizing it wasn't my passion. Bought a property, my first property.
What year was that?
2004, I think.
And that was before you were in real estate.
Yeah. This was while I was still W-2 guy. And ended up buying it with nothing down, as everyone was doing back then. It was just like a little loft by Petco Park when all those buildings were going
nice,
up.
Yeah.
Contacted a broker that was in the area. Just wanted to get his feedback on my plan, which was to sell it. That's a whole different story. And he was great. He kind of brought me in. He offered me a job. He's like, hey, will you come do my marketing for me? Will you, help me with, my part of the business, and I'll kind of teach you how things work. He was an investor as well, so he really kind of got me started on the path.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was just kind of an interesting way to kind of step in, almost risk-free. I was getting paid by him to do his marketing, and he was also getting something from me as well. So
That's super interesting. I think a lot of people that want to get into this game kind of think they got to go immediately into doing the project on your own and figuring it out on your own. But
Yeah.
you took step by step, took the education as you learned, but you got paid for it.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I don't know if I give enough credence to that time in my life, because it was risky. It felt risky. I mean, shit, I was 25. It probably wasn't that risky, but it felt like a big leap, and that process made it a lot easier for me to take the leap. But I ended up taking a lot more leaps after that. I went off on my own, 2008,
Okay.
2007 actually.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
So you were working salary job
Yeah,
through 2000, sounds like around 5 through
4. Yeah,
So then the market tanks, and you're like, I'm gonna go solo.
it didn't tank at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was early 2007.
Okay.
It didn't feel like it was tanking at that time. People were still buying. And yeah, all the leads we were getting, because I was doing a lot of marketing to bring in flip leads and talk to sellers, and these sellers had no equity, but they needed to sell. So I fell ass backwards into short sales at that point, and saw the opportunity. My partner and I at that time studied a lot about short sales. We were
You were ahead of the game.
We were one of the first guys to really kind of build a pipeline of short sale listings.
And what year is this?
This was probably late 7, 8.
Oh, wow. Dang.
Is when we started to see those trickle in. The banks didn't even know what they were at that point. The short sale departments were like 1 or 2 people.
It's all about foreclosures.
Yeah, it was, they didn't care. And it sucked, but we learned a lot. We brought a team in. We ended up doing 1,000 of those from 08 till 2020.
1,000?
Yeah, probably over 1,000.
I remember in my first company, it was probably around 2012 when we started working together on those short sales, and 1,000 short sales though.
I know, man. It's a lot of angry conversations on the phone with banks. It was rough, but it was great. I mean, I was able to kind of build my own little small portfolio of rentals. I learned a lot. Did some flips. I wish I did more. I bought more.
I know.
But I guess we all say that. But
at least you held on to some, man. I mean, I look back at that time. It was like we sold everything.
Yeah. Well, it was good money. It was easy. You could find the next one just by looking on the MLS and picking one. Yeah, it was good. And then 2020 hit, and that was just another flip where there were no more foreclosures. People didn't need to pay the bank anymore, and short sales went out at the same time. So I kind of had to shift again. And at that point, I really trimmed down the team to where it was just me, and started to focus on learning more about wholesaling. Started to do my own flips more, and did some brokering as well, but that kind of fell off a bit, and focused on the ADUs on some of my rental properties. So I was busy, but it was just a lot of just me, tunnel vision, learning and doing my own thing at that point. And that's been 5 years. I'm still just me and my wife that are kind of working.
Do you miss the team?
I do. Yeah. No, I think that's probably one of my biggest things I'm unhappy with at this point with my career is I don't have a lot of people to celebrate the wins with. Yeah.
Well, we're here with you.
Yeah, it's why I collaborate with you guys and do networking and things like that, because you have to. Otherwise, you're in a bubble, man.
It's lonely.
Yeah.
So what's your sweet spot now? What do you like? Tell us a little, because you have just a cool setup, I think. I know, granted, you have less people around you, but you have what seems like, from the outside looking in, pretty stress-free way about
talk to Christy about that. Talk to my wife how stress-free it is. No, but you're right. It's great, and I guess my sweet spot is that I don't really have a sweet spot.
Yeah.
I do focus in particularly one area, like mid-city San Diego, but I mean, I got my hand in a lot of different things. So if I'm talking to a seller, I'm not sure which way it's going to go. I might help them sell by listing it. I might buy it and flip it myself. I might wholesale it. I might try to buy it and work with you guys on it. And so my sweet spot is I'm able to bring a bunch of solutions to whatever problem they might have.
And that's cool because you don't go into it with like a one-size-fits-all trying to force a seller into like, this is the solution to your problem. You can have a book of solutions and help them, coach them to the one that makes the most sense.
100%. Yeah. And it comes down to what their needs are. And like, if I only have one solution, I'm not going to do a lot of deals.
No.
Yeah. So I guess my sweet spot is there's no sweet spot.
So last question before we go into the actual property. What do you love about real estate? And what do you hate? One of each at least.
Okay. What do I love? I love, and I think we were just talking about this before a little bit, before we came on set. Time. It affords you time. There's money, obviously. I love cashing a big check, right? But that doesn't last very long. And I think that the time you get for me, my son, my family, to travel, like I'm excited. I got a bunch of cool travel coming up this summer.
Going back to Philadelphia.
Going back to Philly, of course, always. Yeah, so I think that would be it. For me, it's time.
Cool. All right. What do you hate?
Time. I don't know. I don't have a lot of hates with it. I do. I may have just answered it. I don't. My particular real estate right now is just me,
Mm-hmm.
and of course my wife helps. So, for me, it's the lonely nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, making money, having a big win, that's awesome. But if you don't have someone to share that with, that you're collaborating with,
Mm-hmm.
then it's just money in the bank.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's been fun to we're for context we're working on a few fun things.
Yeah.
Like we got a 14 unit development going
100%.
up in University Heights, and
I cherish the stuff I do with you guys and other partners, but yeah, I miss the a company team approach.
yeah.
For me.
All right. Well, we'll get you in.
Yeah.
We Revive someday.
I would
All
love
right.
that.
All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about the property here that we're gonna go more details in
Flory,
just a
yeah.
sec. Flory. So 6887 Flory Street. That's in University City. How did this deal land on your radar?
Flory. So it was, I believe it came off of a marketing piece that I sent, but also a text follow-up.
Okay.
He's like, "Oh, I did get your marketing piece, and thank you for following up." But it was pretty organic, believe it or not. And
I'll give you some credit. TJ always says you are the master of follow up. Like this is where
man.
your sales.
I will bug the shit out of people. Either they're going to tell me to
But they
F off, or they're going to say, "Let's do something."
But you do it in a way that people. I mean, they love you. You're not aggressive. You're just there to help. But TJ always says, man, like he's the model of follow up.
That's definitely one of my superpowers that I'm good at. Yeah, I mean, you just got to have thick skin.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So marketing piece went to him, and then you just kept in front of him through text.
It was pretty quick. So he was ready to go. He ended up calling, and we had a conversation. It's really tough to build trust over the phone, so I'm always pushing to meet someone. But he was in Newport, retired, but he didn't come down a lot. And then eventually he started to come down more because he needs to get rid of little context. This was a probate situation. He was the administrator of the estate. So it was his son who passed away after a very long illness. It was a sad situation, but it was expected, and it wasn't like a fresh hurt necessarily on his end. So we ended up meeting at the property one day when he came down to, they were working on getting a lot of his belongings together, getting the estate together. Their plan was to clean out the house and maybe eventually get it on the market. So he was of the mindset, because he talked to a lot of realtors, that it was worth 1.2.
Okay.
I never pushed back on that immediately. He didn't ask me for a price, so I was like, all right, well, let me take a look at it. We can go from there. I never want to say, well, that's way too high.
Yeah.
Because then he won't meet with me.
Yeah.
So I was able to come in, sit down with him, get face to face, which is the most important part of my process, and just simply went over the numbers. Like if their seller's a logical person, you can say, here's how much it's going to cost to fix this house. Here are the comps for when we get it fixed up and resell it. And, here's how I get to my purchase price. And they understood that. They appreciated the transparency. They didn't sign the offer right away, but I did leave it with them, and ended up calling back and saying, let's do this.
Nice. That's always nerve-wracking when you leave the offer.
It is. And everyone always says, you got to get it signed. And
I know.
it's like, that's just never been my personality. I'm not going to say, no, don't sign it, but I'm never going to push a pen in front of somebody like that. It's not a good look. It's not how I want to do business.
Yep. So take a step back, because a question came to mind that maybe is interesting for fellow real estate professionals. What sort of marketing piece did you send Mr. Rhode Island marketer? Like what got him to call you? Because that's the first battle. Like that's a hard battle to win these days too.
It's a lot of clutter, man. And I think he was in probate, so it was obviously that's a court record, public document,
everybody
that's on a list that everyone gets.
Yeah.
So I don't even know that I don't think I was intentionally sending him anything because he was in probate. That just happened to be the case. So I know he was getting inundated.
Yeah.
I don't send out like flashy stuff. I don't send fake checks and all these other things that you see. Nothing against that. It works, right? But I'm more of a traditional letter. I do a couple things on the envelope to maybe grab someone's attention so it doesn't get thrown away.
Now, are you printing in-house? You use a mail house?
I use a mail house. I used to hire college students to handwrite this
Yeah.
stuff, and it just got to be too much.
I remember we did the same thing back in, oh gosh, it was so hard.
It's just too much management, and then they got these huge boxes they bring into you, and you got to go to the post office. I decided to go to a mail house.
Yeah.
And now they have these crazy ballpoint pens, and things can be done so it looks like handwriting. So I do some of that.
Okay.
But it's just a letter that I try and like. My verbiage is as frank as it can be. It's like, listen, here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what you can expect. Give me a call. Like, no BS.
Mm-hmm.
And some people respond to that. And usually, older generation responds to that.
It's just a numbers game, right? And that
it is.
It's intellectually makes sense, but also something when you continue to pay for the mail and you continue to go through the motions and you see the response rate is, obviously never what you hope it to be, but
I never get these numbers that other people say they have.
I don't think
1-2-3% response rate. I never get that.
I don't think anybody really does. But
the calls I get are the people I want to work with. They seem to be of the same mindset, so it's nice.
Right. So you kind of went through the seller situation. It was a probate. They had the house to unload.
Yep.
So was there? You kind of went through your meeting. Was there any resistance that you had to kind of overcome with the seller after you met with them?
It was price. That was it.
Yeah.
And it was pretty easy. That 1-2 became, I don't know, what was it, $980 we bought it for? I forget.
$980. I think you nailed it.
I think I actually, you know what? I ended up having the offer at $1,020,000 at first. And I guess I'll give a shout out to T. I think I had him come by and take a look and kind of help me look at it a little bit and
run the budget.
I ended up bringing it down to $980 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a little pushback there. I got along with these people great. They were really sweet people. I'm a dog lover. Immediately, hugging their dog, and it's you got to be able to really get in there with them and create the trust right away. So I was able to do that pretty quickly with them. There wasn't a lot of pushback.
That's cool
stuff.
That's cool. Well, you mentioned you brought TJ out at the time, so he came out.
Yeah.
Probably put a budget together, walk through the property.
Yeah, it's pretty casual at first. He just helped me with the floor plan idea, and
because at that time we weren't for sure even working together.
No.
He was just there to help you if you were going to do the flip.
Yeah. And I feel like whether it's him or even just Ed, like they're happy to come walk the properties with us and just say, hey, let's, I'll give you my opinion on what it's worth, and I can either then go and try to get that for less and then wholesale it to you guys, or I can just go and buy it myself. You guys don't care. You're just happy to help me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been good.
Well, let's use that as a good transition to go in front of the ESPN style TV screen over there and look at some photos, huh?
Yeah, man. That sounds good.
All right.
Let's do it. Let's dive in.
All right. We're here in our fancy ESPN style setup. We're going to dive deep into this property in particular, but as you can see, episode 1, guinea pig host, guest, Brian Ruhl. One of the questions that we were going to ask over there, but we talked about it, so let's just talk about it here. You opted for a creative program that we offer. It's our You Profit Partner Program. So you could have flipped this on your own. You could have done a lot of different things with this. Why did you choose this route?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know about it until I think that day when TJ came over and we had a conversation. I was complaining about a project I was working on in Mission Hills. It was a bigger project, and I was already pretty strung out and really small bandwidth at that point.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, well, why don't we consider partnering together on this? And he went through the process, which I'm sure you'll explain a little more about. But I think that's such a big asset to have for someone like me. I work solo. I can't really, and I don't really want to do more than a flip at a time, quite honestly, unless it's an easy one. And this was not an easy one for me. It was a lot of work, and I just didn't have it in me. And if you come across a situation like that, and you can partner with someone who's going to do it all for you, I was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, so we'll get into the financials of that in here in just a sec. One of the other questions I was going to ask was, why do you think this one was why did this one stand out as a good potential flip? I think this kind of helps tell that story a little bit better than any answer would, but
I mean, it's UTC. It's a starter home in
Yeah.
UTC. It's small, right? Like a 3.2, under 1,100 square feet, but it's on a big view lot. So that to me was hey, there's something here. Someone's going to pay a premium for this once it's done.
Yeah. So let's go through the photos real quick, and then you can grill me about the reno here. But here's where we had, inside, really small, closed off kitchen. I believe that's our front door, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It'll get so okay. There's our hallway. I think we might have caught these photos a little bit into our exploratory demo, trying to figure out what was behind that wall. You mentioned there was just a boatload of junk left behind.
Yeah, a little context. There was a lot of medical supplies in there.
Yeah.
Because he was in hospice and ill for quite a while. So there was a lot of medical supplies, a lot of built up belongings. It wasn't like a hoarder house, nothing like the 15 feral cats that were pissing in that house we did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough. It was worse condition than what these pictures show.
Yeah, we looks like trashed it out a little bit before we caught these photos. But there's what you're talking about with the view lot.
Yeah.
And this is for from our sake, we look for properties that have something special about it. Especially like, last year was fine, but like right now, we're in 2025, more inventories on the market. It's getting a little bit harder and harder to sell properties unless you have something that stands out as like that's a special home.
Something you can't add.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. And this one had that about it. Okay. All right. So now we're getting into the renovation. We showed some before photos, so it's your time to grill me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the biggest one for me is the budget, right? How did you come up with the budget?
Yeah, well, we have some fancy spreadsheet that tells us what the budget is. So in this case, so I got my cheat sheet here. So we went into this with the expectation of spending $125,000. Now we ended up spending $131,280, and we made some conscious choices in the process of the renovation to do that. We spent a little extra on the kitchen. We spent a little extra on the yard, which we'll get to in the after photos. But we felt like we had to tune it up a little bit more than we originally thought to get the exit value that we thought was possible.
And you know what's cool? I mean, and I'm not sure you do this with everybody, but I had input during this process, and don't have to listen to it, but it's nice that I was heard. Yeah. And it was, some of it actually was used to put a little more money into the yard. So that was nice. Because I mean, I am a partner, and it doesn't mean that I'm doing any of this, but I'm able to kind of give some opinions.
Luckily, I'm not either. Otherwise, it would never get done. But so this is mid demo, obviously. Pilar. Now my Spanish is awful, but I have a feeling that means remove. That wall went out. We added a beam, and so that's our living room, and it was closed off to the kitchen. So I know that was a big part of making this house shine at the end was removing that. There's our guys, hard at work.
That was what I thought was really cool that you guys did was there wasn't a big bathroom. Yeah. It was a pretty tiny one. In the master.
I had that soffit right there for some reason. She even shrank that shower even more.
Yeah, and it wasn't big when you guys were done, but it was 70% bigger. You took out a closet that was in the hallway, and you moved a heater that was in there up into the attic, I believe, and then changed that into space here for the shower, which is huge.
Some of these old houses, I mean, the size of their showers it's remarkable how tiny. Like I can't imagine me as 6'2", 200 plus pounds getting in some of these showers that we walk through.
No.
But yeah, so this here on the right before what he's talking about is over here on the left. So there was a soffit here on the left for some of the plumbing, And so we opened that, we pushed that back up to the same, the same in line with the rest of the wall, and then that back wall was pushed back. So we added a couple feet to the shower there. All right, so yeah, you can see here we had to do some sheeting. So we knew we had to do the roof, but sometimes you don't know what's under the paper, right? So we had to replace quite a bit of fascia, quite a bit of the the eaves, and then obviously sheeting there to get that roof the way it needed to be. I don't know, we're starting to see it coming together here.
Yeah, I forgot how much work needed to be done. I'm glad I had you guys do it. What was your timeline on this?
Good question. And I wrote down an answer. So originally, we get down to the days on our pro forma, and then we kind of judge ourselves against that. So we had 73 days from acquisition to list on our pro forma, and we took to 75. So pretty much nailed it.
Yeah.
On this one, doesn't always go that way.
No.
But there we go. So I'd asked the team about this too. So I asked them, it's like, okay, what are some of the challenges we had to go overcome here? And this neighbor was actually one of the big ones. Were you a part of this?
He still texts me.
Does he?
He's my boy. Yeah.
Oh, future acquisition.
Yeah, potentially, because he's going to need some work on the house.
So this, our neighbor had just a bunch of stuff outside the house. It was classic hoarder situation. Most of it had been out there and left out there for years and years. So you can imagine the condition it's in, but in his opinion, it was his stuff, and he was very protective over it. And I guess when we started painting and building the fence, he started complaining about some overspray. So we actually we had to mitigate that situation, give him some money to make him feel heard and taken care of here. But that was a lot of back and forth. Apparently, he was a little aggressive towards the team in a couple occasions.
Yeah.
But now he's your buddy, so
yeah. I see you guys had a really tall fence you guys did there. That's smart.
This fence is as tall as we could.
Yep.
Fortunately, you can still see. So this was big, right? This is where you were talking about, where some of your input came into play. There, we had this massive yard, but the way it was laid out is you had this big embankment that led down to another flatter area into the canyon. So I'll have a good picture towards the end, but this was, I think originally we were just planning on leaving that kind of a blank slate and then just doing grass up here on the top. But in the project, we decided, like, hey, this is a big selling point. This is a lot of usable yard, but right now it just looks like a dirt pile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone's always going to want to add their own touches after they get in there, right? Because you have to decide between, should we do this or we leave that for them to chew off? I feel like this was smart to do because it gives them the vision of what can be done better.
Relatively inexpensive, some sod and sprinklers, not that much. Now in today's market, when it's buyers are more looking for a deal than they are necessarily the high price point with everything done. We might have done it differently. Just got to shift with where the buyers are at. But in this case, it panned out. So as you can see, it's coming together here. There's our open kitchen. So before there was a wall up right here. Now there's not. So this is a big thing that we look for in properties that we're walking through, is the opportunity to create sightline from the front door to the back. When you can do that, it makes the whole house feel more open, and you have that, especially when you have a view like this, right? Yeah. You have that feeling of, like, right when they walk in the door, the goal is always to get, like, wow. Like, how can we get the buyer to say wow when you walk through the door? And on a simple, in the grand scheme of things, this is a relatively simple, affordable home for UTC. So we couldn't go, crazy, do a bunch of engineering and do a accordion door there, which, I guess somebody could make the justification for. But anyway, we felt
it was perfect, right? Because I feel like this was the front door right here, in line with that. Yep. So you can almost see you guys took out that big nasty palm, or at least you cut it down. Yeah. So you can walk right in, and that's what you see when you walk in. I mean, that's it.
When we walk to houses where we can't do that, when sometimes structurally or whatever, like stairs, it kind of discounts the house in our eyes and what we can actually accomplish on the back end. So it affects our offers. But in this case, there we go. There's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you can see that.
So sight line straight through from the front door. So this is unfortunately, we didn't have the before layout, but when we were talking about the bathroom, there was the furnace closet was right here.
Yep.
And then there was a small shower and then only one vanity. And so we were able to extend this into a dual vanity and a deeper shower, just because we moved that heater. And, what we found recently is if you have to replace the heater anyway, the cost for these removing these old heaters to put them right back where they are is basically the same to move them. So we almost always move them now, if we get a benefit for it.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I mean, and this, I think there was where was the garage? Right here. See, there was a door to the garage.
Yeah.
Obviously, you took that out.
Yeah. That's always unfortunate because then you don't have direct access to the house, but you can't call it a bedroom if it's got a door to the garage, which I don't know if you know. So this is where we ended up. Yeah. This is our front curb appeal. So we ended up adding an accent wall there. We splurged for a nicer garage. So I mean,
like that's huge there.
Yeah. Whenever that garage is the main focal point of the curb appeal, I'm always trying to remind the team, like, you have to splurge, especially in an area like UTC where it's 1,100 square foot house roughly. Mm-hmm. But you're spending over $1 million for it. So there still is somewhat of a higher price point there from a buyer standpoint. So you want to give something that they can be proud of at the end of the day when they pull up in their car. So, all right, now we're going to transition into the sale. The project is done.
Yep.
Now in the sale, and we'll show some after photos of what everything looked like, when we're all done. But
did you think it would sell for what we ended up selling it for, or what do you think it would sell for?
So when we were talking about doing this partnership, we landed on a number. We all thought that this was going to sell for 1.325. Mm-hmm. There was, I wrote a note here. There was actually a property. So UTC, there's a property on Governor Street, which was our best comp at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, for those that know UTC, Governor Street is super busy, but it sold about a month before we made the original offer to the seller on this property. And it was a great homeowner remodel. It had a pool, and it was a little bit larger, but it had no view, and it was on a busier street. So we were like, hey, that's our best comp. At 1.3, we feel like, okay, we got a view, we got a little bit larger yard, so we'll get a little bit more. So that's what we thought going into it.
It was the best comp, but I feel like you guys didn't get too focused and fixated on it because there was other properties that came up for sale while you guys were rehabbing this. And of course, being a partner, I was checking out what's out there, right? Well, I mean, I don't have the addresses on you, but in this specific pocket neighborhood, as well as like one similar to it in UTC, it validated that comp on Governor, that potentially we could get over that too. So it was good to see that it just wasn't that one thing we were looking at.
Yeah. Now, what do you remember what we listed at?
I believe it was 1299.
1299?
Yeah, and I think we listed it there, and I was the agent on the relist here, but I think we were talking to Alex about it. And
Alex is our asset manager for those that don't know, but
yeah, and you guys are in the same agreement as me that you want to have more than one buyer, right? Yeah. You don't want to just be dealing necessarily, unless you have to. You want to have more than one buyer to choose from because you want to choose the right person, right buyer's agent. But you also want to be able to put them against each other and try to bring the price up. So we listed a little lower, 1299, in hopes that we feel like we could get that pushed up closer to what our hopeful price was, which was the 1325.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's how we ended up. That's where we ended up like inside. So one of the last minute decisions we made also, there was previously wood siding right there along this wall. So we had to take it out anyway. It was old. So we had a choice. We could re-drywall it and make it look like the rest of the house, or we could make an accent wall. So we spent a little bit extra money and did, the extra, the added the contrast of the paint color just to, modernize it, but still kind of break up the, white walls that can be typical if you just, go all drywall. So we always, when we're listing houses, because one of the points I wanted to make is we always stage houses. I mean, I know now people are using virtual staging. I'm not a big fan. We have great partners, Universal Staging. Shout out to them on this house. They take great care of us, and I mean, just staging the house to give it some character when someone walks in there, so it doesn't feel like a empty tomb, so to speak.
I think virtual staging is great for rentals, right? Because you're not going to necessarily have. I don't know why people do it, and it's fine. And I'm not going to kill anyone for this, but no one's just going to buy the house and not go look at it.
Yeah.
So, for me, spend the extra money for the staging. Means you agree.
Yeah. So this was another little touch that the team added after the fact. We had a little bit extra room at the time. We thought we ended up going over after the yard investment, but they made the call to put a little, what do they call it? Coffee bar / wine bar area over here.
You have to ask my wife. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anyway, felt like we got some positive feedback on that. Extended the kitchen a little bit. The space was kind of dead anyway, so it helped.
I mean, when I first walked in, I noticed right away, like even just the fixtures. And I know you're not picking these things out, right? But like it's just
Thank God.
You're always on the cutting edge of what people are looking for or don't even know they want yet. And I'm sure you can attribute that to your team, whoever handles that. But when I first walked in, I was really happy with what I saw.
One change we've made in the last year and a half is we've taken all material purchasing in-house. We used to lay out the design and give it to the crews, and then they go and buy it. But so many times they would look at that as inspiration, not an edict to what the material needed to be, and we'd end up with like, well, that's not the light fixture, that's not the tile. So Kayla, our designer, is, thank God, choosing finishes, not me or TJ or anybody else. And she's sourcing it from. It allows us to source from all over the place and get deals. We get it delivered to us or to the site, and then if it's to us, and we make it go to the site. Then the guys don't have to leave to go find it. They don't have to go try to search down where to buy it from. We're finding the best deals. We're not paying markup on materials, and we end up getting, in this case, I mean, it seems like tastes change all the time. I don't know how Kayla does it, because
I don't know.
Design
Pinterest boards? Is that even what you call it? Pinterest?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I should know. I mean, yes, there's Pinterest boards. I do know that part. All right, so that was the bathroom, and there we go. There's the yard. Invested in the pergola. There's the palm tree, but it wasn't. I think there was another one.
That previous photo from the before, it was huge. It was just crazy. You guys made it look like a pineapple. It's awesome.
It does look like a pineapple. There's the yard that we put in. You can kind of get some. I mean, it's honestly a bigger grass area than the main house. You said we listed at 1299.
Yeah.
So walk us through quickly. Sale, like a lot goes into selling a property. Buyers are involved, lenders are involved, emotions are involved. How to play out?
It was great. I think we did 2 days of open houses. Probably had 30 groups in each day. I mean, this wasn't prime springtime either. When was this even listed?
I think we sold this in August or November.
Yeah, and it was slow, man. That's ish that time of year. It's not traditionally the best time. So yeah, we had a great turnout. I think we had 3 or 4 buyers that put offers in.
Yeah.
By Monday, and I was pretty happy with it, and they all came in because I was obviously telling agents like, listen, this is going to go over list.
Yeah.
So
it's nice when you can say that.
Yeah, and they were bringing in offers over list.
Yeah. So I had a note here from Alex. He mentioned that we had 4 offers.
Mm-hmm.
First weekend, vetted the buyers, took the strongest one, but before they even got out there for inspections, which is so typical these days, cold feet, didn't proceed with inspections.
Cold feet.
It
wasn't cold feet, and I'm glad we're talking about this now, but yeah, the the buyers and UTC it's a heavily Asian area,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of Asian population there. And I knew that going in that potentially the previous death was going to be an issue. So I'm telling everybody that's going through there that's interested, listen, someone did pass away recently peacefully in the
From
house
natural causes.
of natural causes,
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah.
And I really hammered it home
Yeah.
to the buyer's agents that put the offers in too. So I was really surprised when not even a week later, they come back before the inspection's even done and say, the buyers talked to their family about the death in the home, and the older, more traditional family members came back and said, you cannot buy this. It will bring whatever bad feng shui into your life. And so they backed out because of that.
Okay.
Yeah. But we had a good backup offer. They jumped on it. They loved it. They were excited about getting in. And
yeah, we didn't even put it back on the market. It just,
no. It was quick enough to where we didn't lose the backup offers, which is great because sometimes you lose a buyer 3 weeks in and it's like, well, you go back and everyone's already moved on. Yeah. So it was a good situation.
Okay, cool. All right, so now the thing that I probably get asked about the most, which I already told Ruhl the next time I'm going to do a loser of a property is to get the Band-Aid off quick but this time it was not a loser, right? So the question I get asked the most, like, okay, what are the numbers that actually go into the project like this, right? So here it is. All right, so breaking down the numbers, the brass tacks behind, what keeps this machine moving, Okay, so here is the project in a nutshell from a financial standpoint. We bought the property for $981, which we went over in the beginning. Original budget was $131,280. We ended up the original budget was $125, but we ended up spending $131,280. Now I try to break down the other costs that we have related to doing a project like this into chunks that I think are easier to understand. So on the buying side of things, you chose to do the U-Profit. Mm-hmm. This U-Profit program, Brian Ruhl brought in half of the money to complete the project. We brought in the other half because we've worked with Ruhl before.
VIP.
VIP club. Shout out. Because of that, part of the contribution that you brought to the table is you weren't charging us commissions. On the buy side, there was no wholesale fee. You were just in it with us for the long game because you saw the potential.
I believe in the property.
Yep. So buying costs were relatively low. We got to use our preferred services, and we paid the seller closing costs, and it was relatively low. Financing cost, the biggest one that people, I think, don't understand as much. But as you can see here, as it relates to cost of the project, I mean, behind rehab, financing cost is the most that comes out of pocket. The big thing that we stress to do here internally is that when we're looking at the cash that's needed to do the deal, most times people just look at, okay, what is the loan amount? And then what are you buying it for? And what is the rental cost? And the difference is what they think they need to do the project, but they leave out the buying cost, the financing costs, and all the other costs that come with flipping the property that you have to pay out of pocket.
Yeah, you won't see those 5 lines on the HGTV show.
No.
Right?
Oh yeah, it's just what do they buy it for, and then what do they sell it for? Yeah. They don't even sometimes go into the rental cost. Yeah. Now the selling costs are important too. Obviously, more higher than the financing costs in this case, but you don't come out of pocket from those. Those just come off the top, so you don't have to raise the money for that. Still hurts sometimes, but a little bit different. So in this case, this is kind of important. So normally, our U-Profit program, right? The partner brings us the property, contributes the commissions, brings in half the money. If you're a VIP, we come in the other half, and we're just a partner. And then that includes on the sales side, you contribute commissions on the sales side. But in this case, right, we had a sliding scale clause in there. It's like, if we can get and outperform our ARV, you earned a little commission on that as well.
I did, yeah. I think we said, I forget the number, it was 1,325. It might have been. If I go over that, I get 1%. So it incentivizes me smart for you guys too. It incentivizes me to sell it for as much as I can.
Yep.
Which I'm already incentivized to do it, but
It's a
still,
partner,
it
yeah.
helps.
Yeah.
And it's a win for me.
Well, and again, the hardest part about I feel like this business is actually the acquisition, to go through the pain that it sometimes takes to actually show the seller, in this case, the numbers of what it actually looks like to do this, and what the number has to be to buy it. To get them to sign on the dotted line to that is the hardest part and the most important part. You make your money when you buy. Everything else that goes into it, all we're doing is just trying to figure out a way to not lose any of that potential that we got from the offer price we got it at. Yeah. So anyway, I'll get off my high horse. Ended up selling it at 1,343 with our expected sales price to be 1,325. We didn't, which I like. This is like the perfect result, because if we shoot too low, we go way above it. Sure, it feels good. But then I also feel like, well, I'm probably looking at things too conservatively and leaving money on the table on more buys. And then obviously if you go
so
low,
it makes you rethink your strategy.
Well,
that's interesting.
It makes me look at the way we're analyzing properties, be like, hey, we're consistently outperforming our ARVs here. We're probably being too conservative on our analysis. There's probably more properties to buy.
That's probably one of the only reasons I partnered with you guys on it, though, is because I know you're conservative. I know. Keep doing that.
Yeah, I will. Anyway, but we're pretty close here, right? I mean, we're within 1.5% of our original expected price. So end of the day, this was a U profit. So we split 50-50. You walked away on the profit side, 64,884.
Yep.
Plus the 1%.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then, closer to 80.
Yeah. And so then we walked away with 64,884. And I love this because there's multiple winners, and we got to do what we love. The team gets to keep doing what they love to do. And everybody wins. Seller got a good price. Yeah. We got a good price.
It's the best kinds of deals.
So let me see if I missed anything here. So when we bought this, here's the delta, right? When we bought this, we expected that our profit to split was going to be about 110,000. In the end of the day, it was roughly 129,767. Now we sold for, like I said, 1.5%. So we sold for 18,000 more than we thought, which is a big part of that equation too. But the other part, if you can follow this math as I spit out numbers at you, there's a $10,000 delta in there where we made a little bit more than we thought because we were able to sell within 34 days when we had expected to sell in 70 on our pro forma. So the time savings increased our profits by 14 grand.
That's awesome. It's good to go fast. I wouldn't have gone that fast if I did it myself. It would have taken a lot longer.
Yeah. The note here is this is why we focus so much on speed. When I look at our portfolio and when we see properties that underperform our expectations, it's almost always because something happened to delay the property. It doesn't even have to necessarily impact the renovation budget, but if we go 10, 20, 30 days beyond what we expect, it's all off the bottom line. And it can change the numbers pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So we started, this is our first episode. We started off with a win. Next one, as I mentioned, will be a painful one for me because I'm going to figure out a loss that I can share. But looking back at everything that we did on this property, would you do anything different? Anything different in the house? Anything different in the strategy?
No. I mean, I think you said it. It's a win-win-win. Like the seller wins here. Mm-hmm. They're great people. They got what they wanted. The transaction went really smoothly. It was a win for me. I didn't have any sleepless nights. Right? I didn't have the stress of contractors not showing up. Like that's all on you guys. I just put the money in and forgot about it. It was awesome. So it's a win for me, and you guys win.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Last question. Part of the reason we're doing this one is to, again, get beyond just the pretty photos on Instagram. I think people are also kind of tired of them. Everybody's putting it out there, but it doesn't tell the story, right?
Yeah.
So, but one of the other reasons we're doing this is also to help other agents and real estate professionals, help them grow their business, help them hopefully learn something in the way we look at properties, if nothing else, that they can go apply on their own. But what advice would you give to other agents, other professionals that want to do this type of work?
Man.
Catch you off guard.
No, I always wanted to be a mentor. I don't know. I
Here's
guess
your chance.
Yeah. I think for
Shoot
me, I would definitely say, and it really has nothing to do with this property specifically. It's just, you can send out as much slick marketing as you want, right? You can get as many calls as you want as you can, but if you're not able to focus on the person on the other end of the line, or sitting down at the table in front of you and actually understanding what their needs are, what their problems are, and how to like provide solutions, and actually do it in a way that's compassionate and sincere, then you're not going to get a deal.
Yeah.
You can get 100 leads a day. You're just not going to get it. So you have to focus on the person and make sure what you're doing is not leading them in the wrong direction, or in a direction that is unintended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good advice. Good advice. Win, win, win.
Ooh, and stay in your lane. I feel like too many people get distracted by what they see out there on Instagram or whatever else. And well, we can scratch that.
No, don't scratch it. It's good. I mean,
don't know. I feel like it's a little too deep. I'm not going to go there.
Here, I'll chime in. Because I see it a lot right now. And I just actually recorded a little video of this, because I battle this probably on a weekly basis, where I look at what other people are doing or what other opportunities are out there, and then I feel somewhat incompetent because I'm not doing those things. I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Weekly, I feel like, why don't I know how to do this? Why is this a struggle? And I have to remind myself, it's like, just start where you are.
Yeah.
Start where you are and focus. Like, don't be a jack of all trades, but try to master one before you move on to another.
Right. The next shiny thing that comes along.
I see a lot of people that are getting into trying to flip right now. And some of them are doing it successfully. Some of them are getting hurt because it's different. It's totally different. But I think what a lot of people miss, which I think you touched on earlier, when you said you didn't have to worry about it. Even if you're successful at this, what are you leaving behind? What are you not paying attention to while you focus on trying to do this? Like, whether it's in your case, right, you're spending more time with your family,
right,
but you also have had another project going on at the time.
Yeah,
you had your rental portfolio.
It needed all my attention.
If let's just say you're a real estate agent who's working with buyers and sellers, but you want to get into flips. What are you're going to spend a lot of time on a flip project. What are you not spending time on while you do that? Who are you not prospecting to? Who are you not talking to get the next potential opportunity in the pipeline? So we don't have to scratch it. I think it was good.
No, it is. I mean, everyone focuses on, hey, I need 100 units or something. No, you don't. Maybe buy one property per year for the next 10 years. And like, you're in a good position that way. You can stay small.
Without getting over-leveraged.
Yeah.
So good advice, dude.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.
So anyway, mentor.
Revive and Reveal, episode 1. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back again. The whole thing here is about, the truth behind the transformation. We're going to be hitting some losses. We're going to be hitting some rental properties, some bigger projects and some smaller projects. So hopefully you come back, stay tuned, subscribe, follow, all those cool things on the interwebs. See ya.